How many people here go out? And by going out, I mean how many of you go to pubs, bars, festivals? Can I just hands up? Oh, that's the majority of you. Well, that's good. That means my presentation will be, to a certain extent, relevant to your lives. And can I just say you are very lucky. I mean, I'm studying for my exams now, and I think you should be as well. I don't know why you're going out, to be fair. So I will be talking to you about bouncers. And before you ask me, why did you do any sort of research in this area? I mean, we had some great talks about identity, working together, and there was just me with bouncers. Well, basically, things have changed a lot since the key date, that is 2001, in the private security industry. And I'm here to demonstrate what has changed and whether it had a positive or negative impact. Quick history lesson. Before 2001, anyone with right physical capabilities could have worked as a security guard. Hence, we have a stereotype of a 6'5" bloke that is 18 stone that works on the door. However, things have changed in 2001 since the government now introduced something called the Security Industry Authority, who regulate the security guards and make sure that everyone who works in this industry has right mental and physical capabilities. So where do I come into this? Well, basically, I have obtained my security license from the Security Industry Authority 2 years ago, and since then, I've worked in a number of venues. I've worked pubs, bars, hospitals, festivals, all sorts of places. And throughout my short career, I have learned from a lot of people what they think on the Security Industry Authority. And it's very polarized. Some people believe that it's good, some people think it's bad. And I thought, Greg, you study criminology, you've done a lot on nighttime economy, so why don't you just have a look yourself? And I did. I started my research, and it came to me that this is being largely neglected. A lot of focus is devoted to another statute which came into play in 2003, which pretty much regulates how the venues themselves work. However, there was only a tiny, tiny bit on the security guards. So I thought, wow, this is really worth investigating. So how did I approach this? Stats. And before you all switch off, because I know how stats work on people, it's actually relatively straightforward. I used something we call Crime Survey for England and Wales. Crime Survey for England and Wales is basically a way of recording number of victimizations and attitudes towards crime in England and Wales. Every single year, a number of households in England and Wales receive surveys to fill out. And it can include absolutely anything from have you been a victim of a mugging to has your car been scratched. So I've used that, and there was a very interesting variable that is pubs, bars, and clubs. And by using data from all the way from 2000 to 2008, that is 320,000 households, I've managed to discover that actually the statute which regulates the security, therefore makes sure that the security guards have right mental and that they have the right skills, actually did have a very positive impact. As we can see, in the year 2000, number of victimizations which occurred in those vicinities per 100 respondents has been 3%, and then it has decreased by half. What happened there? A plateau. And what I say is simply impossible for those security guards to lower the numbers anymore, since, I mean, if we can imagine a club, we've got lots and lots of people dancing, everyone's having fun, suddenly 2 people decide to kick off. Now, security guard is all the way there, and by the time he gets to the people, you know, the victimization has occurred already. So I thought, wow, this is quite cool. So my first hypothesis has been confirmed. The statute did have a very positive impact on the private security in England and Wales. However, I was not satisfied with it. See, today's talk is all about what lies beneath the surface. And I thought, why don't I have a look what lies beneath this kind of surface? And I did. I split those victimizations into 3 variables. So we have what happens inside, what happens outside, and what happens in the car park. And as you can see, every single one of them decreased. However, I'd like to draw your attention to what happens outside. That variable has decreased the lowest out of all of them. So I thought, why is that? So I looked deeper into it, and I actually divided all those crimes in terms of proportion. And if you take crimes as a whole, proportion, I've divided it as to which one is basically like that. And as we can see, what happens outside has actually increased after the introduction of the statute which regulates the security. So what we can see from here is now that the security have the ability and the skills, they can avoid the liability by basically shifting whatever's bad and happens inside, they can just move it outside. But there it happens, so nothing gets done about it. And yeah, here's another one for you. Basically, the number of victimizations, serious victimizations, outside, the number of reporting for it has increased drastically since 2000. So we have the percentage of victimizations which are and are not the responsibility of the security staff. The ones which are not the responsibility of the security staff have increased by 44%. The ones which are have decreased by 14%. So what this initially just proves a bit more that basically more staff is happening outside. So now that I told you all about my research, you probably think, so what? And I think it's actually quite important to everyone here. Pretty much the majority of you here said that you do go out, you do participate in the environment. And it's important that we do even a tiny bit more to try and decrease those victimizations a tiny bit more to ensure our own safety. Private security is becoming more and more important. It's controlling private prisons run by G4S. It's controlling detention centers. It has control of our money. If you think of a guy who carries that little suitcase with the money as he takes it from the bank, that's all private security. Example, London 2012. Police were actually unable to provide a sufficient amount of officers in order to make the event safer. Therefore, a lot of it has actually been supplemented with private security. Therefore, as you can see, they are becoming more important in our lives as a whole. And due to the recent police cuts, I mean, you can possibly imagine that we are going to be shifting our attention more and more towards private security. I've done all this research in order to perhaps create a foundation for myself, for my future research in regards to this area, and what can be done, what can we do more to ensure our own safety, which I'll be conducting with my assistant, Dr. Ignatans. And yeah, I'd just like to really leave you with this thought here. What can be done to ensure our safety? And next time you go out, I hope you think about it. And yeah, thank you.